Kathy Rain, A Detective is Born. This was an interesting little title. I'll admit it never crossed my radar until I heard about it through a podcast linked to one Facebook group, the Classic Gamers Guild. It's very different. Now, it caught my interest because of some similarities I spotted in Gabriel Knight. Just slight similarities because it literally has someone investigating something that apparently has some ties to some supernatural elements. Now, it was released in 2016, if I didn't say that, and it's set in actually the 1990s, which is actually the era I went to college in. Kathy Rain, our protagonist, she is a college student, and she's studying journalism. This is already linking to finding out about investigating mysteries and all that. So it's a good start, I think. And as the story comes about, her grandfather passes away, which she reluctantly puts off going to, but she goes to the funeral. And at the funeral, there are several individuals. Then you find that she is now investigating what caused her grandfather to be in the state he was for 15 years or so. And as she investigates the mystery, it takes some pretty interesting twists and turns. I mean, there are some points I'm believing one person's responsible, but they aren't. And it also dives into Kathy's backstory. To say she had an easy youth is, well, she didn't. And this investigation into what happened to her grandfather is also an investigation into her own background, finding out things about her own life. I mean, you have people who would have been at odds with her grandfather actually have a lot of respect for him. I mean, they even pay their respects at the funeral. And I have to admit, the surreal twists that got put into this title was very intriguing. Makes it all the more interesting to play through. Because as she is looking into the past, you are seeing her in her own way deal with her various demons that she had growing up. I mean, her mother wasn't necessarily stable. Her father apparently died at a young age while she was young, or after her mother left, one of the two. So she never really got to know her father's side of the family. And this was in part due to what her mother did. You find out that Kathy had an abortion when she was younger. Now, you have to take into account that was kind of hard. It's hard for any person, I think, to do that if you don't have inner regrets and turmoil about that kind of topic. You aren't fully human, in my opinion. I mean, it's a deep topic. It's a controversial one. And apparently, when Kathy did it, she in part did it because I think she did in part of fear and not wanting to cause any more hardships for her mother. Which, I can sort of feel for her on that. Doesn't necessarily think I make it think that I was. I think what she did was right at the time. Something like that is a. It's a very hard topic to decide on. It's a decision one should never take lightly. One should always consider all options. And yes, that is sadly one option some people will have to consider. But that's part of, I think, the beauty of this story because everything is so deep. For a game that takes place over the course of 5 consecutive days, everything is so deep. Everything has an inner meaning to it, it seems. Everything is linked together. You have a church that tries to almost control the community. A church that was started by, I think, from what I remember, it was started by a salesman who, quote, found God, or a God, possibly. And it's a great, it just adds to the story because it's like everybody has a motive, everybody has a tie to what has happened in this town. Everything just ties together. And it's the fact that you are trying to piece together this mystery. And then it just seems to take what looks like a turn to, quote, warring factions. It's it's kind of hard, I think, to put it into full words. All the implications that this game puts out there. You have a group of people who will do bad things, but they also have respect for the people who are trying to do the right things. You have people they won't cross, either because they're either too rich or they're too well respected. I mean, you got these bad guys. I mean, you have what they call the Black Hats, which is a bit of a motorcycle gang. Hell, one tries to get a bit too aggressive with Kathy, and she gives him 1-4. The leader basically tells the guy to back off, and when he hears who she is, because her father was part of this group, she's always welcome to stop by. And Kathy gets answers to everything that she has to start putting together. And on the fourth day, she has to go to the sanitarium where her mother is kept because there's one guy there. And I think that during the course of the game, whatever choices you make might affect the game, how you answer some questions. And I like that one because you have a guy who's telling you what you should be asking next. And it's just a matter of it's like I say, when I named the video, it's like a very leading conversation. I mean, I think if you try and pick the wrong response, he tells you, no, 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 that's not right. And it's a brilliant use of a character who might quote have psychic abilities. And it sort of reminded me of a character that's been in the Discworld series, Mrs. Cake. Uh, she has to turn her precognition on and off every once in a while. The thing is, if it's on, she's answering questions before they're asked, and it's all a matter of, you know, be, you know. I get all messed up if you don't ask the question that I just answered. It's like, so you have to literally pick the right subjects because he's trying to lead you into what you need to say. So it's a kind of I like that bit. But there's also a dynamic. Uh, Kathy Rain having a when you're in college, you will most likely have a roommate, and if you have a good dynamic, hey, you're good. If you don't, well, that's another thing. But Kathy gained somewhat of a dynamic with her roommate. I mean, they're almost polar opposites, but they mesh well as friends. And who knows if they ever do a full sequel to the game, maybe we'll see something more. I don't know. I mean, they make an unlikely duo. Kathy Rain looks rough and tumble, and her roommate Eileen looks prim and proper. Her roommate is not afraid to do anything to help Kathy get to the bottom of the mystery involving her grandfather, which also takes a bit of a serious personal risk. In the end, of course, Kathy will solve the mystery, so to speak. And now she will move on, possibly to discover more about her past or the deal with her father. Maybe try and figure out what happened to her mother, too. I don't know. I don't know what made the woman go the way she went. However, if they do a sequel, I would openly welcome it. As of right now, at the time of this recording, well, and when it gets posted, I hear they are working on a director's cut of Kathy Rain, A Detective is Born, which might include more stuff. It's definitely going to include some more puzzles. And the puzzles were a very good addition, in my opinion. And that's all I've got to say on Kathy Rain. If you've enjoyed this retrospective, I thank you very much. And check out some of the other stuff on the channel. And go out and pick up a copy of Kathy Rain. It's especially if you like mysteries with surreal twists to them or paranormal twists to them. It's actually a very good game. Take care. Have fun all. Bye.